Hello again, everybody. Glitch Reaper here. I'm here for another mob battle, and it's kind of an interesting one, because I've been thinking about how, recently in the snapshots, Crying Obsidian was finally released to the Nether officially, and I wanted to celebrate that with a boss that's Obsi-Die-An. Yeah, yeah, that's right. This is a boss from the Ultimate Pun mod. So it's been a while since there's been anything about that, so I thought, why not go for it? And I'm going to test him out against Apis from the from Tragic MC2. So this is going to be a short one because I've kind of dealt with an Apis before, a little off camera, and I was thinking, can one defeat Obsi-Die-An? So good question, and I might also throw some others at Obsi-Die-An over time. So we're going to explore where that goes, because I might just be doing a celebration for a while of Obsi-Die-An, because Crying Obsidian. So yeah, so if you're view this much later, then by that time hopefully we'll have Crying Obsidian having its actual function. But if not, well, we'll see. Anyhow, consider this a historical piece in that event. For now, it's not got the spawn point thing working yet. But either way, it's in there. It's in there. And that's enough for me to think, what else has to do with Obsidian? And I'm like, oh yeah, this guy. So, yeah, let's do this. Now, Apis I chose because he's an interesting enemy. I've been getting requests. So, I'm thinking, well, I'm in the mood. The audience is in the mood. Everybody, let's just go. But yeah, this is Obsi-Die-An. And you may note that he actually has his regeneration through the actual effect. He starts off with over 16.5 minutes of regeneration. And he has his own gravitational pull. I'm fighting it right now, very much. This isn't just me trying to do a dance. No, this is for the actual purpose of he is trying to pull me in, and it works even in creative. Like, this is where I settle. He'll cause me to push him around if I just release the button, so I need to hold back a lot. But theoretically, if you wanted to fight this guy in survival, one way to do it would be to be very far away and wait until his regen wears off. That would take a while. Otherwise, I suggest using very strong attacks, because he has some serious armor on him, and not just that. So, yeah, and that you'll be fighting really, really close. So, make it a strong melee weapon, like, say, the Red Guitar or Big Bertha. So, yeah. As for Apis, hit hard and fast, and sometimes go at range. He's actually a little weak at range. Assuming he doesn't mortar you. Anyhow, on with the fight. Here's Apis, and you'll note that immediately he went into his special reflection mode, where he reflects damage. Normally, a player would recognize that and just back off for a while and just say, okay, I'm not going to attack during this time. But in mob battles, that doesn't normally happen. So Obsi-Die-An is going in with everything he's got because he's an obsidian golem. And he fights just like you'd expect most golems to do so, by smacking their enemy upward with serious launch power. And rapidly, might add. But every time Apis goes into damage reflection mode, this happens. He winds up Obsi-Die-An winds up hitting himself, basically. There's also an effect in Witchery that can do that, might add. So you could prep yourself against this guy and do the same thing as Apis. Use damage reflection effects. It takes a little advanced stuff, but you could do it. So just thinking of strategy here. And Apis' damage reflection does seem to have variable times as to how long it lasts. So sometimes he does it for longer, sometimes for shorter. That one right before this trip was kind of a short one. It's when he's just letting himself get hovered there by Obsi-Die-An going, hey, give me a shoulder massage? Why not? But then he starts pummeling him again. The thing is, Apis actually has less health than Obsi-Die-An, but he's dealing him more damage just by going into reflection mode and having him smack himself. So Obsi-Die-An can actually defeat himself this way. Although Apis is taking some serious damage. Gotta give him that. But Obsi-Die-An is lower already. Also, Apis does have some other attacks, but I think he has to be in a certain plane of sight to use them, and he's been kept a little too high for that. Never mind. He actually did launch some fireballs. So he's firing these splitting fireball mortars. does occasionally get to hit him himself. You think with that gravitational pull, it would pull the fireballs right into him. But no. Will this be the moment? Will this be the moment? Yes. It is the moment. Obsi-Die-An is now officially a giant statue. And sometimes it doubles up and gives you a double thick. Sometimes it doesn't. Or was that pretty much just the form it's always going to be? I'm not entirely sure. Maybe it's the other way. Maybe it's intended to be this way, and sometimes it winds up thinner. Either way, you can see Apis won, and he won very soundly. You know, that was a bit fast. So I'm gonna do something a little extra, just cause there is a similarly strong boss in Tragic MC2 that has the ability to, well, do a similar thing. Only it's much worse. And that's the time controller. I didn't have this out last time because the thing I had it fighting against just weren't dealing enough damage to each other. They'd both basically just back off and regen for a while, so it was going nowhere. But this guy, he doesn't back down, he pulls stuff in. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. Why am I on glitch ground? Is there something that I'm not seeing there? Maybe there was an invisible block. There's got to be an invisible block. Or something. What is happening? Every time I hit right there, it happens. I'm not sure what's... Okay, there's something wrong with this spot. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Didn't mean to do that. Sorry. Wrong thing. Didn't mean to do that. I was just trying to figure out if there is some way to fix whatever is going on here. I'm not sure what is going on here. It just is. That's all I know. But yeah, I was going to use the time controller against Obsi-Die-An and show you just how nasty of a boss the time controller is. He does float and fly around a lot. He seems to be able to defy gravity completely, because he's not really getting pulled in. He's just aggressive enough on his own. See, he flew around that and then came back. And you can see how armored Obsi-Die-An really is, because the time controller is barely dealing him any damage at a time. He's just doing it very frequently. It seems that the damage reflection the time controller does is very thematically delayed in time, where it hits a little bit later. It's like he's recording the damage and then sending it forwards in time, going, hey, you, take this hit here. Time controller does take the damage, it just comes back to haunt whoever hit them. Oh boy, time controller's up to something. He did that whole position thing. Only it only did it on me. He doesn't realize that the mob is supposed to be the issue. It's like he's mesmerizing Obsi-Die-An. Yep, he's messing with time. This isn't me. He's got his own gravity field too. Showing Obsi-Die-An I can do that too. And then suddenly he just died. I'm not sure exactly how that works. It's like just poof. He's suddenly just gone. I have no idea how that happened. It doesn't look like Obsi-Die-An actually had any damage taken. He just died. I mean, what's up with that? I'd add, he does have a damage limit, so you'd have to hit with really strong things really frequently to take this guy out. This is a demonstration of how insanely difficult he would be otherwise, because you would have to use a seriously wacky weapon like this. And let's face it, that's going to take a while to accumulate, so yeah. You know, I might also toss in a few other things here, because, you know, I fought some interesting enemies over time. So let's throw in Mog and Gold from Witchery. And I can show off a few other things here and there. So this is kind of a bit, let's just call this a bit of a variety show. So Obsi-Die-An's just having a premiere, you know? Okay, we have Obsi-Die-An, and we have Satan Claus. Remember Satan Claus? Hey, I had to end off my winter theme at some point. So I guess you could call this the time. Because there were things I was considering doing, so I thought, yeah, why not do them with Obsi-Die-An for now, anyhow. And note, this guy is dealing significant damage to Obsi-Die-An. Mostly by sitting on him, apparently. Oh, that poor elf. Oh, the elf actually hit him. So he does recognize the elves as threats. Yeah, that one didn't quite make it. Did the elf just sneak by and isn't hitting him? He's trying to run away from the pole. The elf's trying to make a break for it. Didn't work. That one whiffed. That present whiffed Obsi-Die-An. And they're both big targets, might I add. So that's kind of interesting issue. Note that creative mode flight seems to get around the gravitational pull issue. Just saying. To emphasize the pull, might as well stay on the ground. And maybe not. I'm considering. This is getting fairly close-ish, kind of. I mean, Obsi-Die-An does have considerably less HP left right now. He walked right into that present barrage. And it cost him the match. Because that was like one of the last blows. So Satan Claus is still incredibly powerful. Well, something tells me that could have theoretically went the other way. We might not know for a while. You never know. Could there be a rematch? Possibly. But we know that this time, Obsi-Die-An lost to Satan Claus. So he still has opponents he can't take on. But let's also see... well, maybe not this guy. This guy is just really powerful, so... that would be a little too far apart in power level, because the Dark Opal Demon, it's nuts. So I'm gonna have to figure some things for that thing. How about a few others that I have in fact beaten in the past? Mog and Gold, and these two power each other up when they're in proximity, so they make a good team. So Obsi-Die-An, can you take on a 2-for-1 challenge? Okay. You got them both mad. Because these two are a team. You get one mad, you get both mad. Wow, that is irony. Okay. It's like, hey, we got the same tactic, or at least one of us does. See, one likes to shoot things that's in the air, and one likes to smack them into the air. So Gulg likes to smash. He does the Hulk smash. Or is that more Goblin Punch? Or Goblin Uppercut? Mog over there is the archer. She likes to shoot him down. Yeah, she deals bigger damage on things that are in the air. So this guy's getting, like, juggle sniped. And yes, they have teleports. But his gravitational pull does make sure that they have to be in close range. Oh, that's ironic. Oh, she... Wait, oh, no, it was Gold. He got out. He got out of the suffocation trap that thing had. And she's already... She's regening pretty quickly, so she'll be back up to full health pretty fast. Oh, that was kind of hilarious. I've also defeated Baba Yaga and the Horned Huntsman before in Witchery, as well as Death, so I might bring in the other bosses too. So let's see how well they go here. I'm just grabbing things. So Baba Yaga. Horned Huntsman. Death. That's a death tome. I need death. Hello. There we go. But yeah, those two, oh my gosh. And I have defeated them before, although admittedly it involved a really powerful artifact hammer. I literally brought down the Hammer of Thor upon them, so that may have had something to do with it. Yeah, Baba Yaga. Can you ever hit this guy? Or will he just juggle you forever? The world will find out very quickly. Because this is not a Tootsie Pop commercial. Okay. He's totally looping her into healing. She's not actually attacking, even though she knows she's under attack, because she's prioritizing healing. She's not actually getting to use her moves. He's just got her on lockdown. I think she knows she can attack, but she's not doing so. Because he's like, no. You're not going to throw any potions at me. She tried teleporting, and it was unfortunately at his back, and that got pulled in by the gravitational pull. She needs to teleport farther away. Wow. That was completely one-sided. So much so, he's not even really hurt at all, so I'll just throw in the Horned Huntsman immediately. Who does, in fact, hit him. And has his own healing. He also has his own ranged attacks. Yeah, the wolf is just sneaking up on him. The wolf is just pushing him around and chewing on him. He's got some serious reach with that attack. So he's whacking the Horned Huntsman. Darn lips. Whacking the Horned Huntsman like super quick. Well, the Horned Huntsman, well, just to say the Huntsman is down to close to a quarter, and he's down to close to half. So I can certainly see which direction this is swinging. Of course, his arms are doing the majority of the swinging. Whoa, smacked him in midair. He just totally did a juggle. And there go the dogs. Ah, poor wolves. They just took an absolute beating. Death, avenge them. I know he was already weakened a bit, but still, I mean, Death is mostly a melee character. Or melee boss, I should say. Wow, I think he actually hit Obsi-Die-An there. I mean, can you sneak in and hit him? You just need to hit him to do that proportional damage attack you do. But I don't think you're going to make it. Yes, let's stop the gravity issue. Yeah, Obsi-Die-An is actually recovering during this fight. Is actually rebuilding his HP. That's how one-sided this is. Obsi-Die-An is actually gaining from this. You don't see that very often in a mob battle. But sometimes they just have that much regen. And his isn't even really that much. It's just normal regen for a long time. He just has that much rapid fire attack reach. And death has been ironically defeated again. Okay, that was... Ooh, I know one he could attack. This would be a very interesting way to stop the episode. Because, well, I almost forgot about unleashing the Lord of Torment. But, how far do I need to be away to not get sucked in? That's a good question. For now, let's just start over with a new Obsi-Die-An, because the Lord of Torment has a ton of HP. So, I want this guy to be at his best. He should deal pretty good damage. He should, anyhow. I mean, stranger things have happened. Obsi-Die-An, meet a really big demon who loves to range you. Can your gravity field pull him down? No, it doesn't look like it can. Normally you would start fighting him outdoors. Then you get into the maze. You might have a slight issue, Obsi-Die-An. I really thought this guy would stabilize a little closer over his head, but apparently no. So that's not gonna happen. Because Obsi-Die-An has no ranged attack and no minions. So the Lord of Torment will just have him on lockdown. Because he will just keep unleashing sky support. Specifically from his magic attacks. And this is, might I add, from full health. So Obsi-Die-An is just incredibly, well, he's just having such a bad day. I mean, he is just incredibly locked out of being able to do anything. He did hit him at least once, and the Lord of Torment does not get regeneration. That's a very specific thing about him. But, yeah, he's just getting gunned out. So I might want to consider something else. That's a tad one-sided. We have discovered this. Let me think. What else do I have that I might use? I can't think of anything else right now off the top of my head, actually. It would be like a decent match. Because he has such an interesting fighting style, and, well, Witchery bosses, you know? You know, I've always wanted to see if I could if you even had a damage limit, so... Wow, he has a very low damage limit. Yeah, he'd be very difficult to deal with in some other ways. So yeah, this is, yeah, I could see this guy being a bit of an issue in that, so... That was some interesting experimentation. So, yeah. Obsi-Die-An still has a long way to go. And need to apparently get anything with an EMC out of here because it's gotten piled up. This is what happens when you use this as a disposal unit, even over the course of just a few mob battles. Yeah, there's been a few additional victims along the way. So Uh-huh. There's been other kinds of testing. So, mm, yeah, so had to clear that out. Sorry about that. Got just how loaded I really had that there. But as you can see, Obsi-Die-An is very powerful. There's a lot of things he can really take on, and a lot of things apparently he can't. So, there's a thought. So, I'm going to have to think of other things to throw at him over time. So, I'd say he's a high tier. I mean, not like uber tier or something like that, boss. But he's still pretty high tier. I mean, you can take on some pretty rough stuff, but at the same time, there's things that are definitely stronger than he is. Definitely showed that pretty quickly. So, yeah, that was absolutely nuts. Uh, I think that things could have went the other way pretty easily on some of these situations. So, again, in the future, there might be rematches. There might be other things that I toss in his direction. We'll see. We'll see. Because I know there's been more than a few things I've dealt with over time, and I'm curious how they compare to Obsidian, because you never know. One day, Obsidian might return into Minecraft, other than, well, I mean, it's in 1.7.10, but you know what I mean. Like, you never know when it might show up again. I haven't heard or seen much from the guy that actually did the mod for quite some time, but there's been other times where people just took a hiatus for a while, so you never know. These things could come back into modern Minecraft times. But even then, it's good to reminisce sometimes and say, hey, I beat something that could beat that. So, yeah, just think about that for a little while. Have you ever beaten one of the bosses that could take him down? Or have you just been whooped by him? Because, let's face it, being sucked right into him and then juggled is going to be a terrible, terrible fate. So, yeah. For now, I'll be logging off. Hope to hear from you all later, and bye for now, everybody.